My name is Brendan, and I'm here today to talk about hiatal hernias, more specifically the complications that can come from hiatal hernia if you don't have it taken care of. First of all, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm new to this. This is not professional grade video. I'm also not going to go through the editing process because I'm still dealing with a lot of residual effects from my surgery from the hiatal hernia. So please bear with me. I'm just trying to help people out there who may have a hiatal hernia and are going through the process of trying to get it fixed on their own. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about how to fix your own hiatal hernia. You know, drink water, jumping down stairs, pushing down on your stomach, different things to try to fix it. I've done those things myself. They're a temporary, they provide temporary relief of the symptoms that you're having, but they won't actually fix your hiatal hernia to the best of my knowledge. Now, I don't claim to be a doctor, so full disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. All I can do is talk about my experience. Again, what I'm trying to do is help people out there who may have a hiatal hernia and they know it, or they may have some of the symptoms of hiatal hernia and don't know it. And I would encourage you to please get checked out. A hiatal hernia essentially is when your stomach slides up into the diaphragm area. So there's a weakness in your diaphragm, which your diaphragm is right here between your chest and your lower abdomen. When you breathe, it moves up and down. You get an imperfection, a hole, and your stomach is able to slide up or essentially bulge up into your chest cavity. I noticed I started having problems several years ago, back in probably 2011, 2012, something like that. I went to the doctor, had it checked out. I was told I had a hiatal hernia. He prescribed me antacids, and I took antacids for the last several years, dealing with heartburn, other symptoms of a hiatal hernia, a full feeling after eating, general discomfort in your abdomen, but it's not always there. The symptoms would come and go dependent on whether my stomach had slid up or slid back down. My appetite had been reduced because anytime I would eat, I felt overly full rather quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to January of 2018. It was January 21st, as a matter of fact, just a few months ago. I started vomiting blood. I was feeling sick. I was trying to do the push the hiatal hernia down thing. It wasn't working. I finally started feeling ill, and I started vomiting blood. I called 911. The paramedics showed up. I was taken to the hospital. They did a CAT scan. They gave me some stuff to drink. Pardon me, I still have some residual coughing left over from everything I'm dealing with. They gave me some stuff to drink called Contrast that goes in and somehow lights up your body. I don't know the ins and outs of that. Needless to say, they saw something that they weren't expecting. And I was told I needed to be sent and life-flighted to the University of Utah Hospital. This was, 1 or 2 a.m. on Sunday, January 21st, going into the 22nd, which by 1 or 2 a.m. it would have been the 22nd, Monday. But this all started Sunday night. I woke up at 5 p.m. on Monday, so I had been unconscious for, 12, 13, 14 hours, whatever it was. My hands are strapped to the bed. I've been intubated. I've got a tube down my throat. I've got 4 chest tubes in my chest. IVs are everywhere, and I'm waking up going, what on earth just happened? Well, come to find out, the hiatal hernia that I had gotten strangulated, so it got stuck. The blood supply got cut off, and it killed off a third of my stomach. In addition to that, when I vomited, my esophagus ruptured. So little anatomy 101, your esophagus goes down into your stomach, so when you eat, food goes into your esophagus, into your stomach. Your trachea is what goes to your lungs, how you breathe. But my esophagus had ruptured, my stomach, a third of it had died off. So when I vomited, blood, bile, food, stomach acid, everything you can imagine ended up in my chest. I nearly died on the operating table because I followed instructions around how to fix your own hiatal hernia at home, which was trying to massage it down, drinking water, kind of jumping up and down to kind of pull, to have the weight of the water pull that hernia back down. And it works temporarily for symptom relief. That's all it was. But to actually get it fixed, they had to go in and physically fix my hiatal hernia. In addition, I had basically gone septic. There's all this stuff up in my chest. Nearly died on the operating table. I'm actually a walking miracle today. The doctors said for all intents and purposes I should be dead. All the stuff that was up in my chest cavity should have killed me. They ended up removing 1/3 of my stomach. My esophagus ruptured, so most of my esophagus is now gone. I have what's called a stoma, so my esophagus no longer goes down to my stomach. It actually comes out of my out of my neck, and there's an incision here that they stapled after the surgery, and my esophagus now comes out here. This ostomy bag collects saliva, so I can't physically eat or drink anything for nutritional reasons. It doesn't go into my stomach. It just comes out here. I will drink water. I'll drink a little bit of juice just to kind of soothe my throat. I do get thirsty, but it comes out here, and ultimately I have to drain it. So there's a drain pouch right here, and I'm able to drain the bag. I am currently being fed off of this feeding tube. This tube, if you can see it, I'll kind of stand up, and there's the incision where they went into my abdomen, if you can see that. The feeding tube goes directly into my small intestine. So when you eat, your food goes into your stomach processes it, it goes into your small intestine, nutrients are distributed, then it goes into your large intestine, and then the waste products. In my case, nothing goes into my stomach, it goes into my feeding tube, into my small intestine, and then the rest through the large intestine, and the rest I won't talk about. But so I have to get on a feeding tube. I do it for about 8 hours a night. I just use it's a formula that I put into bags, and I've got a system, and it just kind of drips in over about an 8-hour period. I do have to keep this thing flushed. I flush it with water, but I also use that for hydration purposes because I can't get enough fluids just during the feeding time. So I do add water throughout the day to make sure I stay hydrated. Some of the factors the doctor said that led to my survival, I do go to the gym quite frequently. I eat healthy. I eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. I take in a lot of protein. I drink a ton of water. They were worried about kidney failure as well, probably from all the toxins that were in my body when everything had basically exploded. But my kidneys were in really good condition. I do drink a lot of water. It is hard to take in that much fluid now because I'm constantly using a syringe. The syringe is about 60 milliliters or about 2 ounces. That's all I can put in at a given time. So I can do it multiple times, but it gets a little, monotonous, constantly pumping water into this tube, where it's a lot easier to drink water, but obviously I can't do that right now. The good part or the positive side of this, I will be going back in about a month to 6 weeks. They're going to go ahead and reconnect everything, but in order to do that, they have to remove a piece of my small or large intestine, I don't know which yet, and they're going to take my esophagus, they're going to reopen my neck, they're going to move this over, they're going to attach it to my stomach via a piece of my large or small intestine. So swallowing and all those kinds of things are going to be different than what they were in the past. Probably have to kind of relearn how the muscles work, and the nerves in your intestine aren't designed for swallowing, they have another purpose, so we'll see how all that works. For the most part, I should seem relatively normal. I'll still have this scar, the scar on my stomach. I have about an 8-inch incision in my back as well as the chest tube scars that were right there. So I did have 4 chest tubes as a result of this. And they also had to go through my back to get to some of the stomach. So I've got 7-8-inch incision in my back. What my point is, if you have a hiatal hernia, if you have frequent indigestion, if you've started noticing that when you eat you get full faster or you feel uncomfortable, go have it checked out. I've seen too many videos on YouTube where people talk about how to fix your hiatal hernia at home without surgery. Me personally, I wouldn't risk it. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying it can't fix it. What I am saying is that it's unlikely that massaging it down or jumping up and down with water in your stomach is going to permanently fix your hiatal hernia. It may temporarily relieve the symptoms, but I don't see any way, in my opinion, that it's actually going to fix your hiatal hernia. If you have an imperfection in your diaphragm and your stomach is sliding up, or there's different types of hernias and I don't know all the ins and outs, but if that's the situation, the likelihood of you fixing it on your own, I'd say, is relatively slim. I wish I had gone and gotten my fixed. I just dealt with it. I kind of listened to people posting videos. My doctor gave me antacids, and I learned to cope with it. Unfortunately, the result was a surgery and a medical emergency that nearly killed me. Hopefully, you learned something from this. If you do have a hiatal hernia, if you know someone who has one, or if you suspect you have one, please go see your doctor, have it looked at. Maybe I'm 1 in 1,000, maybe I'm 1 in a million. I don't know what the odds are of this thing actually rupturing and my condition happening to somebody else, but it's not worth a chance. So again, my name is Brennan. This is not a professional video. I'm not editing it because it's still uncomfortable for me to try to deal with all this stuff. I just wanted to try to get this out there. I hope it helps somebody. Thank you.